cars will let us coming. So maybe some of you Amazon Prime might get a discount on the flight. I don't know, but I'm not going, so it don't matter to me. And over to the left, they got a big satellite plant over there. To the right side, they got a blue, down by that 7th Street down, they have a big plant that's doing the engines, the motors. Over to the right, with that yellow and that structure, that will be the entrance, hopefully starting on Monday. So you'll come in the back road back there. So, 17,000 acres on the Cape side was a proving ground. Any type rocket, missile and all that we could assemble for the defense of our country, we were doing it. It was not large enough to build the most powerful rocket in the world and beat Russia to the moon. We needed at least a 3-mile version radius. Here on North Merritt Island, 140,000 acres, we purchased the land. It took us 6 months to clear out the swamp land, 6 months to get the swamp land ready to build on, 6 months to build the VAB. The VAB is on 8 acres of land, 4,225 steel beams, all the way down to the Flintstone brothers. We still had not been in space. Coming up on the right, you'll see a Redstone Mercury rocket. We was also launching that with the warhead on it for the defense of our country. We've taken the warhead off, put Albert Shepard in there. 115 miles up, 300 miles down range, a total of 15 minutes. Flash down close to the Bahamas. President John Kennedy challenged the American people. He said that he believed before the decade is over that we should land the man on the moon, return him home safely. 3 weeks later, he was assassinated. 8 years later, we landed the man on the moon, returned him home safely. Once we go through the guard shack, you can take all the pictures you want, but please don't take the pictures of the guard shack. The area that you're going to see from afar is the industrial area. That's behind the scenes, all the way down on the end, the International Space Station processing facility. All parts that help build and still to this day resupply the International Space Station, which is loaded into a bed, carried out to 39 paid for launch. SpaceX has been doing basically all of that pretty well now.
Yeah, Mercury Redstone.
They're using that. The astronaut home away from home, they train in Houston, they last 3 to 5 days, they come here. Any building that we don't use, nobody leases, we tear it down. Bob Cabana, full-time shell operator. He was the first commander that carried the first connecting part to the International Space Station. He's in the old headquarters, built back in the 60s. He called much more to revamp and build that one. We can tear it down and build a new 7-story cheaper than we can revamp that one. So that's what we are doing. It should be ready next year. The new one is 21st century state of the art. A lot of that will be done by solar. So this is Bob Cabana. Welcome you to the John Kennedy Space Center here at Kennedy Space Center, Florida.
Hi, I'm Bob Cabana, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to NASA's John F. Kennedy Space Center. From launching the first Americans into space to launching humans to the moon, we've launched and carried the dreams of a nation. None of it would have been possible without the tremendous team that made it happen here on the Space Coast, that has made possible the launch of every American vehicle that carried a crew into space since that first flight 50 years ago. During this tour, you'll get a unique, behind-the-scenes look at how America wrote many significant chapters in human and robotic space history. Most recently, the Space Shuttle program that launched 135 missions culminated in the assembly of the International Space Station in low Earth orbit. The station is truly an engineering marvel and a testament to what we can accomplish when we all work together. I think one of the most enduring legacies will be the international cooperation that we've achieved in building and operating it. It's provided us the framework for how we will move forward as we explore beyond our home planet. Not as explorers from any one country, but as explorers from planet Earth. You're visiting the center at a very exciting time. Since the end of the Space Shuttle program, we've been working on groundbreaking missions that are paving the way to the future. We're focused on launching scientific and research satellites, restoring the U.S. capability to launch humans into space from American soil, forging commercial partnerships, modernizing our infrastructure and facilities to support the growing variety of government and commercial activities and missions, and working toward long-term human exploration missions on our journey to Mars. For the first time since the end of the Apollo program, which took us to the moon, NASA is taking steps to send astronauts into deep space with the new Orion exploration vehicle. We have the first spacecraft in history able to transport crews to destinations further than we've ever gone before, including Mars. As capable as Apollo was, the longest round-trip mission to the moon was only 12 days. Orion can sustain a crew of 4 up to 21 days, and when coupled with a habitability module, will allow us to undertake human missions to Mars, which will require close to a 2-year round trip. The vehicle that will carry Orion is the Space Launch System, or SLS. SLS will be the most powerful rocket in history, but more importantly, it's designed to be flexible and evolvable in order to meet a wide variety of crew and cargo mission requirements. As I said, you're in for a very special experience today. Enjoy yourself as you get a unique look at NASA and Kennedy Space Center's past historic achievements, an exciting peek at our current innovative activities, and an eye-opening view of our amazing future. Again, welcome to the John F. Kennedy Space Center.
Over on your left, that dead tree, that's the oldest and largest bald eagle nest on the property. When we came here in '61, that nest was there. The last hurricane killed that nest, but they're sitting on eggs inside of that nest there. So, when the VAB was completed in 1966, it was the world's largest building by volume. Today it ranks number 6. It holds the record as the world's largest single-story building by volume. The American flag, the largest hand-painted flag in the world, 209 feet tall, 110 feet wide. Each star from tip to tip is 6 feet, each stripe is 8.5 feet. That building is approximately 525 feet, built on 8 acres of land. To the left are your high bay doors of the American flag. They are 2 on the east, 2 on the west. They're the largest doors in the world. 456 feet tall. Each section weighs 32 tons. Each section has its own private motor. Takes them 45 minutes to open and close. And to the left of those, you got your orbiter processing facility. The shell lands about a mile from there and towed back to one of those 3. All of them are leased to the Boeing company. The one number 3 all the way over, you'll see a picture of the Starliner. That will be returning astronaut back to the International Space Station next year. 1 and 2 is leased to the Boeing company through by way of the United States Air Force, home of the X-37B. We have 2 of them that can stay up in space 700 to 800 days, land, and goes back in there in preparation for the next mission. This tower is not outside, it's in the inside. Trust that the doors will be open, you'll see it.
Just ahead is one of the world's largest buildings by volume, the Vehicle Assembly Building, or VAB. It was built for the Apollo program in the 1960s and stands 525 feet or 160 meters high. The American flag you see on the front is 21 stories tall. The VAB is where everything comes together before a launch. The Apollo and Space Shuttle vehicles were assembled for flight in the VAB. This cavernous facility contains 4 huge bays where the spacecraft were assembled using massive overhead bridge cranes for highly complex maneuvers. Today, the VAB is being updated to assemble our next human-rated launch vehicle, the Space Launch System, or SLS. The SLS is the most powerful rocket in history and has an evolvable design that ranges from 321 to 384 feet tall, depending on mission requirements. This rocket will someday help NASA to reach its goal of human exploration of Mars. The large tower next to the VAB is the mobile launcher being built for SLS. When completed, It will carry the massive launch vehicle on top of the crawler transporter to pad 39B. You will learn more about the launch of SLS when we get to the launch pad. Adjacent to the VAB is the Launch Control Center, the distinctively shaped 4-story building which houses the launch team. This is where the ground controllers, engineers, and launch director monitor the spacecraft and manage all the activities leading up to launch.
So you look all the way over to the right, that's a picture of the Starliner. And next year, that's what the astronauts on Launch Pad 41 will be going back to the International Space Station on. We have 2 transport crawlers. We found these down in the coal mine down in Paradise, Kentucky. The Marion Power and Shovel Company from Marion, Ohio. They sold them to NASA, $1 a pound, $6 million each. It took us a year plus to assemble them inside the VAB. On the top of those, the flat part is the size of an infield on a baseball diamond. You got 2 driving components, one on one end, one on the opposite end. You got 2 drivers, one sit, one stand. This thing goes forward and forward. They're both of them right here. They do not turn around. They get 32 feet per gallon of fuel, has 2 2,500 gallon fuel tanks on it, and it lifts from 20 to 26 feet. They have been used over 50 years. As to the left of that, your mobile launcher platforms, we got 3 of those, been used over 50 years. The 6 string birds up top help distribute 300 pounds a gallon of fresh water in less than 35 seconds. Your tombstone basically is your command center. You control the fueling, the oxygen, electricity, doing all your checks and all. The buildings from afar, that's where we store the solid rocket boosters that come in from Utah. The launch pad is elevated up 45 feet wide, 450 feet long. About a 16 second, we release 300 pounds a gallon up top and 100,000 down in the line. So as we pass, the 2 hole up front, that is for the solid rocket booster. The large hole back here on the rear is for the 3 engines of the shell. So all of that you think is smoke, is steam. All of that 6,000 Fahrenheit of heat coming off the solid rocket boosters and the shell that produces all that big cloud of steam. The mobile launcher platform you saw in the video was built for the Ares program, Project Constellation. It's been here 7 to 8 years. When it was completed, they abandoned the program, so we modified it. About 3 months, a little over, that crawler took it out the launch pad 39B, let it down on all the pedestals, they ran all the checks, everything came back good to go. They put it inside a high bay door 3. If it's open, you can see it. So this here, all of this is a staging area. Launch pad is 3.5, 4.2 miles away from here. Can't launch nothing from back here, it's half everything. Rocket probably wouldn't go up straight. So we needed a place and a way for our 6 million pound crawler to travel on. So we built what we call the crawler way. It's 130 feet wide, 7 feet deep, hydraulic field, crushed field, line rod. Top Pond, Alabama, Tennessee river bonds. They do not spark, they burst into a powder. So as the crawler runs to the launch pad, there's a water truck in the medium wetting down both sides of the rock. That way when those rocks explode, all of that powder stuff won't get into the engine. High bay door 3, that's the first one. That's where your new space launch system tower is at. And that 3 will be used for that. High bay 1 will be used for private and commercial. Shift to the left, the dark window, those are your launch control centers. Number 1 will go to 39B, 2 will back up for 1, 3 will back up for 4. Number 4 will be used for private commercial launches. Up top, the astronauts and the president. And all the way over to the left, the American flag, the blue countdown clock, that's the Newman. The other one we had 45 to 50 years, we could not get cards, we couldn't get light bulbs. So we came from the Flintstone age all the way up to the 21st century space age. That is a state-of-the-art.
The SLS, the space.
Kind of like a scoreboard and everything you can see on it, but they don't allow much but rockets and all. Well, we're going to be headed down by 39A. SpaceX, at least that for the next 20 years. They built the assembly plant right in the middle of the crawlway. They have a piece called a strong banker erector. It's laying down. They'll assemble the Falcon 9, Falcon Heavy on it. Once they complete it, they'll rail it up the hill, get over the flame trench, they're standing in the upright position.
So next year.
We are now approaching Launch Pad 39A. It was constructed for the Apollo program and is where all 12 moonwalkers began their historic journeys. You'll learn more about the Apollo program when you get to the Apollo Saturn V Center. Following the end of the Apollo program, Pad 39A was the site that launched Skylab, the first U.S. space station to orbit the Earth, on May 14, 1973. Skylab provided America's initial experience with long-duration spaceflight. During 1973 and 1974, 3 Skylab crews were launched on missions of 28, 59, and 84 days. The first space shuttle mission was launched from here on April 12, 1981. Over a period of 30 years, there were a total of 135 shuttle missions. 82 lifted off from this launch pad. The reusable space shuttle system transformed the way we operate in space. The space shuttle launched dozens of communication satellites, as well as robotic spacecraft on groundbreaking missions to Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn. Not only did the shuttle deploy the Hubble Space Telescope in 1990, but it conducted 5 repair and upgrade missions that enabled the Hubble to literally rewrite astronomy textbooks. The Space Shuttle program ultimately assured its place in history with the complex on-orbit assembly of the International Space Station, the ISS. The shuttle made 37 flights to construct the station, which is larger than an American football field and can be seen at night orbiting Earth with the naked eye. This unique scientific platform allows researchers from all over the world to work on innovative experiments and help to enable NASA's long-term human exploration plans.
From the VAB to Launch Pad 39A, you're there front 3.5 miles, 5 to 6 hours. The crawler traveling at a speed of 0.5. So coming up right here on the right, once we go around this tree line, this building or this structure is the LC-39 Gantry Observation Tower. It is only for the launch pads over on the Cape side. The first one will be 41, that's an Atlas V. The second one, SpaceX, the Falcon 9 Dragon capsule. And way down on the end, your V-37, your Delta IV. SpaceX had that rocket out here this morning on the launch pad. It's still out there. Only thing it don't have the cargo part up top. When the crawler carries everything to the launch pad and they load it down, it comes back here to stage it. SpaceX taking the pedestals down, they put in a rail system, which you'll see once we get up there by 39A. This is about 39A. SpaceX have leased that for the next 20 years. Beautiful viewing from here.
Since the end of the Space Shuttle program in 2011, Pad 39A has begun yet another transformation. Commercial developer SpaceX is modifying the pad to launch a larger version of their Falcon 9 rocket called the Falcon Heavy. SpaceX is also building a crew capsule capable of carrying astronauts and will launching crews to the International Space Station as part of NASA's Commercial Crew Program. Another commercial provider to support NASA's crew transportation is Boeing. They named their capsule the CST-100. Like SpaceX, Boeing's capsule will begin flying to the station later this decade. They will launch from Cape Canaveral Air Force Station just a few miles from here on a modified Atlas V rocket. With private industry stepping up to support low Earth orbit missions to the ISS, NASA can focus more heavily on deep space exploration, which you will learn about at Launchpad 39B.
That left side of the mobile platform, that gray part there, that is for your 7 escape baskets. The white piece is the clean room, the swing arm. That's the last part the astronaut walks through to get into the capsule. They have a piece laying down up there, they call it the strong bank or erector. They'll rail it down the hill, assemble the Falcon 9, Falcon Heavy inside of this building. Once it completes, they'll rail it back up the hill, they get over the flame trench, they're standing in the upright position, they'll do a launch. Falcon Heavy, 3 Falcon 9 strapped together with 27 engines. He launched one of those in February along with this little Tesla sports car that's up there running around somewhere. SpaceX, the Falcon 9 Dragon capsule, will be returning astronauts to the International Space Station. During the Apollo days and Shell days, the crawler got here to the fence there. You got a hydraulic system. There's a Tesla car right there. The hydraulic system goes in. They got a laser leveler on that crawler. Lowers the front, raises the rear, goes up that 5% grade level. Once they get over the flame trenches, they'll lower it down. They'll boat it down. The crawler go back to staging. The water tank to the right, 300,000 gallons of fresh water. There's another 100,000 down in the line. Minus 16 seconds, that water is released on top of the mobile launcher platform and down into the flame trenches. It is to bring the sound decimal down 142 or lower. If not, you damage the shell and you break windows in surrounding homes like we did during the Apollo days. Those are camera mounts all around the launch pad. The fence is turned backwards. They asked to keep the alligators out. The alligators can climb a straight chain link fence up to a certain height. The first shell, Columbia, the last shell, Atlantis, left from there. The 12 men that walked on the moon left from here. 82 shell launches from there. SpaceX is going to raise that elevator up a little, about 30 feet, and they're going to close the whole place. They use kerosene. We used kerosene during the Apollo days. Shell program came in. We brought in that 850,000 gallon tank. All of that fuel comes in from Louisiana. We take the tower off of the mobile launcher platform and made it permanent fixture. Coming up on the right side, 41. That's Atlas V. Across from there, the beach house. That's where the astronauts spend a little time with the family prior to going to launch. Second one now, SpaceX Falcon 9 Dragon capsule. Again, the rocket is on the launch pad. And all the way down 37, your Delta Force. Next year, Boeing, the Atlas V on 41, the Starliner, will be returning astronaut back to the International Space Station. We got 43 miles of beautiful beachfront property here. A developer had all of this. He sold it back to NASA. 43 miles. They put in a train track that helped build the launch pads in different areas. It also brought in the fuel and the rocket. There were times that we could go down there and view it and turn around, all that was stopped. Never had a big thing about going straight ahead 300 feet from this stop sign, the beautiful Atlantic Ocean. But these 43 miles of beachfront property for sea turtles and loggerhead nesting is the largest nesting in the country. This is the old A1A. The astronaut loved to drive fast. They had a lease on the Corvette for $1 a year. At the end of that year, they'd turn them in and get some more. 5 of them had Corvettes. John Glenn, family man, he kept his station wagon. Scott Cochran was friends with Carol Shelby. He gave him a Cobra Mustang to drive and some snake bag kits. So every time he beat one of those Corvettes, he'd hand him a snake bag kit saying, "You just been bit by a cobra." They played a lot of crazy things. We're going to pause down here. This is where the rail system was during the Apollo days that brought in the fuel. 39B to your left front is a clean pad. That's the way both pads was during the